Hi, this is Chatterboxing. Sean. I'm in the pub today. Got my mate Tel with me, and we're going to discuss the fights from last night. So, Tel, how do you want to do it? Do you want to start with the main event, or do you want to talk about some of the fights on the undercard and build up to it?
Well, let's. Why don't we talk a little bit about Ruiz, the Ruiz win, and then we can go into the other fights as well.
Yeah.
So what was your first impressions at the end of the fight?
Well, first of all, I was very, very impressed with Ruiz. I thought he fought a brilliant fight, a lot better than I anticipated. I thought Joshua looked poor. I think he looked a bit sluggish, a bit slow, a bit lethargic in there. I mean, he came in, he was just sort of leaning down, giving up his height and reach advantage. Didn't look, because I thought the key for him really to win this quite dominantly, in quite dominant fashion, was to basically use his reach advantage and use his quick feet. Now he doesn't have like sort of quick, moving around like Tyson Fury stuff, but like I said in the prediction, he's kind of in and out movement. I thought he could just basically like control the distance and punish Ruiz from the outside, strong jabs, but he couldn't really do that. I thought Ruiz wouldn't be able to cut the distance well, but it was the opposite. Ruiz was basically like controlling the pace, controlling the D. He was coming forward it's almost like a little Mike Tyson in there at times when he'd like really unleash. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so Joshua.
When I was watching the fight, I just didn't really see what Joshua was trying to do. I couldn't really see what his strategy was. It seemed that he was a bit lost in the ring. He somehow shocked at what was happening.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seemed like he hadn't predicted that this was the kind of fight he was going to be in, at least.
Yeah, I think maybe the speed. So that was really the key, isn't it? Really, the speed, the difference. I think where Ruiz won the fight was first of all having the bollocks and having like the game plan. And basically, whenever Joshua threw, he'd throw with him. And Joshua couldn't match all that. He had to sort of pick him off like from distance. But like when they kind of got up close and they both started like throwing combinations at the same time. That was what Ruiz did. Obviously, it takes bollocks to do that with a bigger, more powerful puncher. But
it seemed like his shots were hurting Joshua a lot more than Joshua's were hurting him. He didn't seem like he was punching with much energy, Joshua, last night.
Yeah, he did seem a little bit. I don't know what was up with him. I'd say lethargic was just kind of a bit laboured
and surprised. I don't know, as if he was thinking this was going to be a tricky first 6 rounds, and then I'll get on top of him and I'll end up knocking him out in the 10th. And he just didn't expect what.
Well, I think everyone underestimated Ruiz, really, don't you?
Yeah, of course.
Obviously, Joshua's been. I've heard a few people now saying that Joshua's been exposed and all this kind of stuff. That's bollocks. I mean, if you look at all the people he's fought, he's beaten. That's just sort of taking credit away from Ruiz. He's beaten a lot of good fighters, Joshua. And obviously, like Klitschko, Parker.
I saw some guy on social media before, on Twitter. I think he was saying, well, this just goes to show if you just let someone beat someone, take the belts, and now like build all this hype machine around a guy. Yeah. That's not exactly what's actually happening.
It's not factually correct, is it? I mean, he's beaten up a lot of like top 10, like consensus heavyweight, not top 10 within some governing body, like good fighters.
Yeah.
So that's just taking credit away from Ruiz, who in reality was very good. I mean, like if you know boxing, you just watch that was a very good performance.
Yeah, of course.
And, it was too much with Joshua. I think just the speed was too much. Like when everyone, as I say, like he wanted to throw with Joshua. Joshua shouldn't have done that. So, I mean, you remember like at the time when it happened, the first knockdown, he knocked Ruiz down, didn't he? Yeah. And then he just kind of went balls to the wall, just steamed into him. And you don't trade punches with someone who's got much faster hands than you. You know what I mean? Especially not a heavyweight.
I wasn't expecting this result at all, but I would say I was almost expecting this fight and this result potentially when he fought Parker. I was thinking that this performance that what Ruiz put in was the performance Parker was going to put in, but you knew that kind of fighter was always going to be difficult for Joshua.
Yeah, I mean, the referee, a lot of people criticised the referee in the Parker fight because he didn't really let him fight on the inside.
Yeah.
Parker, again, he got fast hands, not as fast as Ruiz, and I don't think he's as powerful a puncher, but still that kind of favoured that style. The referee kept breaking him up, so that suited Joshua, and he fought a very good performance. How I thought he'd fight this one, but he wasn't able to. Like that's sort of obviously that's his fault to a certain extent, but it's also credit to Ruiz. first ever like Mexican heavyweight world champion. You know, he could be massive now. Like you think in America, like the Mexican fan base is huge.
Yeah, I mean, it should be huge. The problem for him is, I guess, is that his next fight is going to be at Wembley against Joshua in the rematch. I'm already thinking, like, what's going to happen in that fight?
Yeah.
How does Joshua go into that fight and change it? It seems like it's going to be a difficult guy to beat.
Very difficult, yeah. I mean, it wasn't like he just got hit with a punch and like he was basically like beaten up, really, wasn't he, for like a few rounds?
He's been outclassed.
Yeah, for like the third round, Ruiz basically because he knocked him down with a big punch. Then Ruiz basically like just knocked him down straight after. Then basically like won the rest of the round and sort of like knocked him down again at the end of the round. And then from then he was just basically beating Joshua up. Joshua was kind of on the back foot. Don't really need this. Ruiz was just. So yeah, you've got to think going into the rematch. I mean, we don't know what happened in the build-up to this, but you'd have to think like that's just stylistically, from what we see, that's a very, very hard matchup for Joshua.
Yeah, I mean the stoppage. We need to talk about the stoppage, really, don't we? I think it should have carried on, but at the same time, I would agree that I think he's probably going to take more punishment.
Yeah.
Maybe the referee did actually make the correct decision.
Yeah, I think it should have been allowed to carry on, but if I was there, if I was sort of putting money on it from that point, you'd think like Ruiz is very likely to win this fight. He just looks like the better fighter, to be honest, on this night at least.
When Joshua says he's ready to carry on, maybe his eyes really weren't saying that, and if you were looking at him right in the eyes there as a ref, you would see that he really wasn't ready to carry on.
Yeah, his body language wasn't great, was it? And he went back to the corner. He kind of turned his back.
Stepping forward. Or
no, he got up and just sort of like walked away to the corner as if like Canel. So yeah, a very, very weird one, really, like in terms of the performance of Joshua.
Yeah.
So I'd definitely like to see the rematch. Would you be up for going to the UK if you were Ruiz?
Yeah, if I was Ruiz, I definitely would. This is an amazing opportunity. Apart from anything else, okay, that was a great night for him last night. But fighting at Wembley in front of 85,000, for him, that's an unbelievable experience. Even if he loses, and the money he's going to get from it as well.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think, I don't know what he's going to get. I mean, he's a voluntary challenger, so you'd think
he got 3 million for this one, didn't he?
Yeah.
So what's he going to get in the?
I don't know. I would have thought, like, if you're basically being offered a title when you haven't really done anything to earn it, then in the rematch, you know, they're going to say like we want, like as Dylan White was saying with him, like the lion's share of the. So I don't know. He'd obviously get a better share than he got this time. He'd make a load of money, but he's not going in financially, at least, as the A side.
Oh no, of course
like
not.
In terms of like, would you be a bit concerned about like judging and referees and sort of stuff like that if you're him?
Yeah, of course I would. But in the same way, to be honest, I was quite worried about that for Joshua last night. If it had been a close fight, I wouldn't have been particularly confident that.
But it was a matchroom show, though, wasn't it? Like even if it was in America, he was still like the home fighter.
Yeah, that's true. But either way, I don't really trust any of this stuff. That's a good thing about heavyweight boxing is hopefully you get like a conclusive finish like we did last night.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it was conclusive last night, but it was conclusive enough.
Yeah. Well, they want to do it like I don't think Wembley will be realistic because it will probably be like the end of this year. So I don't think like the weather will be good enough. But they could do it in Millennium Stadium or whatever it's called these days in Cardiff.
He's never going to see anything like this in his life.
No.
Ruiz is never going to have seen a crowd of 80, 70,000 people. Like he's never going to see anything.
To be honest, like you never know.
You need to live that if you're him.
Maybe like the Mexicans will travel a bit as well.
Yeah, hopefully.
That'd be wicked, wouldn't it? Imagine if they brought like, I don't know.
Yeah, the quality.
If they brought like even like 1,000, because they make noise. I mean, they're like us.
Yeah.
So if you brought and had like a little away end, like it's football, load of like Mexicans, that'd be wicked.
The good thing about all of this social media stuff and the way it is these days is that now suddenly every single Mexican and anyone who's ever been to Mexico on holiday and anyone who's got a Mexico shirt is suddenly going to be on the Ruiz bandwagon until he gets beaten.
Yeah, it's like all fat people are going to be like, fucking touch me. Do you know what I mean?
Snickers are fucking loving it now.
I saw Paulie Manager. I don't know if he was taking the piss, but he was saying like Snickers were like they're at like some kind of almost like sponsoring or something. I don't know, like some kind of that.
His like on all his social media accounts, his sort of background picture, or whatever, just a Snickers bar.
Yeah.
They're absolutely loving it, aren't they?
Yeah, he's a hero for like fat people all over the place.
Fat losers around the world.
Especially if you know anything about boxing. So if you never heard of it before, just go get a couple more.
Los pones, los manos.
you didn't know anything about boxing. You didn't know anything about it, and you were just looking. You know what I mean? You just tune in and see this lump, like this big fat bastard against this big, like, bloody builder bloke. You just think this is ridiculous. It's like so
Well, this morning, like when I woke up after, admittedly, it probably wasn't. It was close to not even being the morning. But when I got up, I had like, a few messages from different friends
fucking hell.
who don't, they don't watch boxing. They don't know anything about boxing.
Yeah.
Going to me like, how's Joshua got beaten by this fat bum? But to be fair, if you've seen Ruiz at all and you've seen any of his fighting, then he's not just some fat bum. This is a shock result. But it's not like, who's this guy? He's some like dustman from Peterborough.
No, and also if you see the fight, you can see the skill. It's not just like some lump just swings some lucky like haymaker and catches him after being outclassed. He was literally like you can see the skill that he's got.
Yeah, this guy's beaten an Olympic champion with a great performance. This wasn't some fluke. That's the quality he's got.
So how's this going to affect Joshua, do you reckon, now? Like, his stock has gone down, like, there's no... Even if he basically beats the way... the manner of the defeat is going to cost him, do you know what I mean? Because it wasn't just like, Lennox Lewis got taken out, like, with one punch. That kind of thing happens. But to be basically, like, sort of beaten up for a few rounds and then stopped.
Yeah,
that's going to...
Well, in my opinion, this is actually the reality of Anthony Joshua. He's very, very good, but I never thought he was invincible. And I personally thought
a bit vulnerable.
Wilder's got a chance of beating him. I think Dillian White's got a chance of beating him. I think Fury's got a very, very good chance of beating him. And he's got a good chance of beating all of them as well.
Yeah.
But you've seen too many times, like the Klitschko fight, the Dillian White fight.
Yeah.
You've seen he can get hurt basically, and like the right boxer on the right night can obviously beat him, can't they? So I think this is a good wake-up call for Joshua. He needs to massively improve. He's nowhere near like as good as he could be.
Yeah, to be honest, mate, at one point I quite liked McCracken as a trainer. But I think, like, in terms of Joshua, if you look at I thought he was quite good against Povetkin, but I think Povetkin's obviously he was a bit past his best, and that was a good performance. But I do think like Joshua could benefit from like learning a few. Because look at like Ruiz, like, he was like his punch selection was wicked.
Yeah.
Like he come in like jab to the body, come over the top, hook, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
And he was doing it at different paces. Joshua is a bit kind of, like people say he's like robotic. I think he was a bit robotic last night. I think that's a bit overstated, but he is a little bit kind of basic. You know what I mean? Big, strong. I'd like to see him. And the advice he was getting was appalling. What was McCracken on about?
It seemed a bit strange in the corner what was going on. The questions Joshua was asking him seemed like he was a bit sort of disorientated almost. And like I don't know what advice he was getting. Like,
it was fucking weird, mate.
Yeah, the whole thing was a bit strange.
Yeah.
Definitely, like it seems like that maybe he's got a bit stale anyway. Either his last performances recently, like he's not really improving.
Yeah.
I think it might not be like the problem with McCracken, but it's more just it's time to get reinvigorated with a different style of training and some new ideas and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think so. But that corner situation, he was just talking rubbish, really, like McCracken. And Joshua was just.
He needed to get him to just focus and calm down and let's get back to the game plan.
Yeah.
And he never did that. And he had an opportunity in between each round to do it, and he never even seemed to try. I don't know what was going on.
So he said in the press conference after that he's not interested in a warm-up fight. He's basically straight back in. You've got like this thing with like Joshua. People talk a lot of shit, but he really like just fights everyone, doesn't he? Doesn't give a fuck. He's 22 fights in. He just take on everyone. He doesn't really care. So he's not looking to, pad his record or anything like that.
It's been annoying me a bit today looking at social media, the amount of haters out there trying to say this guy's a fraud, this guy's not what he was like cracked up to be, what a hype job. All these people are talking absolute rubbish. He's always up for every fight. I don't understand where this myth is coming from.
Well, but it's basically like social. These days, there's just no kind of people can't be bothered to do any like research or even any sort of critical thought. They just hear some idiot say something and they just repeat it, and then like enough other sort of morons go along with it, and it becomes credible in some way.
But this whole fake news thing seems to have gone to a new level in boxing, really, doesn't it? Where all these people that haven't even seen the fight, and they're just delighted that someone's lost. That they didn't watch the fight, they haven't seen any of these things happening. They haven't even listened to the facts about different contracts that could have happened and all these different things. They've just decided, I don't like Joshua, and I'm happy he's lost. What a fraud! It's unbelievable, really.
I mean, that's why I don't really bother engaging too much with people these days, because there's too many people just talking rubbish. Basically, it definitely sort of shakes up the division, doesn't it? Now you've got Ruiz there. So obviously now Joshua, that whole kind of bollocks with him and Wilder, we can basically now we can just start having
the money now is not going to be the same as it was before last night. So Wilder's missed out on a big payday, so is Fury. That's their problem as well.
Stalling fight, because obviously Wilder and his team have been stalling this fight for ages, trying to sort of get leverage themselves into a sort of better financial position, and now look what's happened.
They're not going to get offered 100 million now, I know that much. And I think it's good for boxing. Basically, now there's going to be probably less chance of people. Let's get it on now, because we don't even know if this guy's going to be around in a year. Be that Fury, be that Wilder, be that Joshua. Let's just have these fights.
Yeah, exactly. It's heavyweight division. People are going to lose. So now, let's just Ruiz is now back in the mix. Got Dylan White. All that. If that Oscar Rivas might beat him. You know what I mean? There's loads of people knocking on the door.
I would say now there's clearly a top three. And after that, there's probably another 4 or 5, and the distance between those 5 and these 3, with their obvious vulnerabilities that they've shown over the last couple of years, it's pretty exciting, the heavyweight division now.
As of right now, Ruiz is arguably the number 1 in the world, isn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, you can make a case for Wilder, make a case for Fury.
I think you'd have to say that after he beats Joshua in the rematch.
Yeah, okay, but if he does that, but still, he basically, Joshua was pretty much the consensus number 1. Not like sort of Klitschko, so he still had Fury and Wilder, but most people, he had 3 of the belts, and he's just gone in and basically demolished Joshua in 7 rounds or whatever. I mean, Fury beat Klitschko back then, not as convincingly as that, first of all, and also that was years ago. Since then, Fury's basically, he beat Wilder, he got given a draw, but he's not at that level he was when he fought Klitschko. Wilder, his best win is beating Ortiz, which is a decent win, but it's nothing like beating Anthony Joshua like that. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, we'll just talk about some of the fights on the undercard.
Yeah, why not?
Let's start off with
a pretty good undercard actually. It was quite entertaining, even though it didn't exactly get my juices flowing beforehand when I saw the fights, but it was actually pretty entertaining all the way through.
Yeah. Josh Kelly, I didn't really impress in my opinion. Looks, like I said to you before, I think he's a very, very good athlete, and he's very gifted physically. I just don't really see that much boxing skill with him. I see him just sort of messing about too much. Kind of doing all this something some mad uppercut, jumping up at a weird angle. I mean, that's impressive.
It seems like he hasn't really had a good boxing schooling. He doesn't fight the fight. He's doing all the flashy bits without doing the real hard work.
Yeah, I mean, he basically did he even throw a jab in that fight?
I'm not sure he did.
He might have thrown 1 or 2.
Just jumping into jabs, in a couple
hands
of
down, I mean, I wasn't scoring it, and I wasn't really watching it that closely. I was kind of talking a little bit, and a drink, but I got the impression that it was given a draw, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
I mean,
I thought he lost it actually.
Yeah, from what I saw, I'd probably give the edge to the other bloke.
Yeah.
But as I say, I wasn't scoring it round by round, but definitely the last.
Well, the momentum at the end of the fight was obviously with the other guy.
Yeah, but he was to me a much better boxer. He was coming forward, landing his jabs, and trying to. Whereas Josh Kelly was just kind of, jumping around, leaping in every now and then, and he was.
That's another example of maybe a boxer who needs a different coach, to start working on some other things. But in this case, we were talking about Joshua. Maybe he needs to start working on some things which aren't so basic. Maybe Kelly needs to start working on the basics.
Yeah, maybe I can do a little exchange.
Why not? A little intensive course, basic punching.
Get Joshua doing it with Adam Booth, get him fucking leaping around, fucking popping up with some Prince Nassim shit.
I wouldn't mind seeing.
And get Josh Kelly doing some 1-2s and left hooks.
Joshua putting a little bit of the more dynamic Adam Booth style into his game.
A bit more mobile.
Yeah.
And Josh Kelly the opposite.
Yeah.
So I think. I suppose on the positive side, he was a good, solid opponent, and he showed a lot of will and quite tough, good heart. It was a tough, grueling fight, and he was still there at the end, giving it. And I just think that technically he needs to improve quite a lot. So I think he's kind of a bit overhyped at the moment, personally.
Yeah, well, he's quite most boxers in the game, to be honest.
Yeah, but he's quite early on in his career, isn't he? So we'll see where he goes from here. But
it's very hard when you're one of the matchroom fighters. You're getting put out there on these big cards. You maybe don't have enough time to develop and have a few bad fights. You can have a few bad fights, but now you're just under the spotlight all the way through from when you begin until you become a champion.
I wouldn't mind seeing a rematch. I think that's basically it was a draw. I think the other bloke probably nicked it, but it could, I don't know, quite close. I'd definitely like to see it again.
Well, it'd be the best way to see it if he's learned from that fight or not, wouldn't it? To see him against that exact same rival.
Buatsi. Buatsi's a fucking machine.
Yeah. Buatsi's like the best version of Kell Brook, like converted into that weight, that kind of accuracy and just like spite in his punches.
He kind of reminds me a little bit of a young Mayweather. Like in the way he just basically like he's not as athletic, but he's kind of obviously he's bigger, like stronger, like stalks you, very efficient with the punches. Doesn't like mess about. He'll just come on. He'll get. He's always in a good position to just hit you, whether it's a sort of straight right to the jaw, left hook to the liver. You know what I mean? And he covers himself up. Timing is brilliant. There's a few times when they were kind of fighting on the inside, and then literally exactly the right moment, boom! He just catches them with some beautiful left hook.
Yeah.
Great footwork to close him down. I mean, against a pretty, bang average opponent. A sort of half decent opponent for someone who's a super middleweight, been out for 2 years. It wasn't exactly a live opponent, was it?
No, not really. But Buatsi, I mean, he's just got like a good sense for the moment to step on the gas. Just before he finished him off, like there was a moment where he sort of let him spend his last bit of energy and then just went in for the kill. He's a scary fighter, I think. Buatsi.
He's got a real killer instinct in a minute. I think personally, him and Josh Taylor, those are the two standout like UK fighters for the next up and coming. They are special.
Yeah, I think so.
Buatsi, I like Anthony Yard as well. Anthony Yard's good, but Buatsi to me just looks like a real.
The thing is, you've never seen Buatsi put wrong. Every single performance is absolutely punch perfect.
Yeah.
You never really think like, he was not at his best today. You just think, what professional every single fight.
Yeah. It's difficult for him now though, because he's at a sort of position where, like, if you look at the top of that division, they're just wall-to-wall killers.
Yeah.
Like, he could beat some of them.
He's not really ready.
There's no need for it, is there? Like, there's no reason for him to be in there now.
And then, I think he needs to have fights like, for example, Anthony Young. Those are the kind of fights.
Yeah, but that fight, that's there's no that they want to build that up and make that like a big fight.
Yeah, they want to have it in the Emirates in front of 8,000.
No, but like Anthony Yard, obviously, is the sort of star for BT. They've got a lot of money invested into that.
Yeah, you might as well wait until they're both champions.
Yeah, that's going to happen like down the line.
I mean, in terms of quality of fighter, like he shouldn't be fighting yet.
The thing is, I don't call the rest of the people like in England who are like, we've got some decent like Jose Burton, like to see. Callum Johnson, obviously.
I'd like to see that fight.
What's his name? Craig Richards. There's quite a few. I don't think many of them are really going to want to fight him. So I don't think any of the people.
Why would they?
I don't think anyone in England can beat him.
Right now, he's not bringing the kind of money that correlates with the danger of fighting him. Basically, you don't really want to fight him, and he's not really bringing the name yet.
No. So they're going to have to pay a lot of money. But yeah, he for me, he's one of the best fighters we've got. I mean, obviously the established people, up and coming, Josh Taylor as well.
Yeah.
Josh Taylor, amazing. So those two are the two top ones. Who was Callum Smith?
Yeah, Callum Smith, brilliant performance.
Yeah.
I was never really that much of a Callum Smith fan, to be honest, but you had to respect the way he took apart George Groves, and that performance last night. He's clinical. He's a Terminator, man.
That left hook again, like basically just whips it out. He's really tall. Timing's perfect. Knocked him down with it twice. I know bloke's been down about 30 times in the last 3 fights. I know, but still, you know what I mean? Every time you catch him, bang with the left hook, straight right. He's just a real vicious puncher. Callum Smith.
I don't believe Canelo needs that smoke. Let's put it that way.
I put Callum Smith. Well, you can't really compare Callum Smith with Buatsi and Taylor because he's further. Taylor's fighting for a world title, but he's another one.
Callum Smith's a couple of years ahead of them.
Top level, UK fighter. Canelo. I don't see why
Canelo needs that smoke.
No, I mean he's basically got very, very tall, massive for like a super middleweight. He's fucking huge.
Yeah.
So he's like well tall, got long reach, hard, good body punch if you get on the inside. Physically very strong.
And it seems like it's hard to hurt him as well.
Yeah, and he's very, very tight defensively as well. He doesn't give that much away.
Yeah.
So I think Canelo would really.
I think it's a great fight.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're not going to say before the fight it's a 50-50. Canelo would be the favourite, but I think.
Well, he should be based on what he's done. Like he's obviously achieved a lot more.
If you were Canelo looking at that fight, studying Smith, you'd be thinking this guy's going to be a real tough cookie.
Yeah. Quite quick with Katie Taylor. So obviously, like most people, aren't really big fans of like women's boxing.
Yeah, well, I was saying to you before the fight.
Yeah.
They're obviously always putting on Katie Taylor on like these big bills, etc. And I was never really that interested. I honestly like, not because I'm sexist, genuinely because the fights were never that great. The people she was up against weren't really like making it into a good fight. But that fight was absolutely quality.
Yeah.
That was a brilliant fight, wasn't it?
Yeah, but well, that's the thing. Like you said, with the women's, the same with like Clarissa Shields. Like she's just won. Like she's become undisputed. Like very, very good fight, but it's just the competition. Like people they're the same with Katie Taylor. So you get like a few people like dotted out here and there, but not really like in the same weight division.
Yeah.
So generally you just see mismatches, don't you? But yeah, that
Belgian girl was she's just launching into it.
Absolute nightmare to fight against someone like that. Just big, strong, come in like literally at the end of it, mate. It was like sort of Pereira Morales, like the last round. Katie Taylor's out on her feet, just literally like having a fucking like she's in a pub car park, like 4 a.m. Do you know what I mean? Just swinging.
Yeah, she converted me, that's for sure.
That was a real terror.
I'm a fan now after watching that.
That's probably
some serious heart.
Yeah. And
serious heart.
And that was a draw. I think it was a fair. No, it wasn't a draw. It was Katie Taylor got it.
Taylor
a draw would have been a fair. I wasn't scoring the rounds, but the impression I got was it was.
At the end of the fight, I thought this could be a draw, probably should be a draw. Maybe she's won it, but you definitely want to see that fight again.
Yeah.
I don't see why they wouldn't have it on the Joshua Ruiz.
No, and definitely that's the obviously that girl was a champion, so that was to become undisputed. She definitely deserves like a rematch.
But that fight you can hype this fight up now, and I'm going to get on board.
But if you're Katie Taylor, you think fucking don't need that again. I mean, that was just like literally just.
But this is exactly what she does need, though. To be fair, this is what gives her credibility. Is like respect what I'm doing because I'm having real fights here.
Yeah. Oh, what about a couple more talk about the boom boom Tommy Coyle? Yeah, it's sad, doesn't it, to see him stopped?
Yeah, it was a pretty brave performance, though, wasn't it?
It was a great performance. Yeah, it's just
Algieri was good though.
Algieri, well, I was quite impressed because Algieri.
Did you see the state of his face at the end of the fight?
Yeah. Oh yeah, he looked absolutely like just swollen up. Like he looked like he looked like Rocky Balboa, didn't he? Thing is, like, because we've seen Algieri like against people like Errol Spence, Manny Pacquiao, and like he's basically been battered. You kind of get the impression he's a bit of a bum. But obviously that's like a top level. So when you put like Tommy Coyle's basically British level, isn't he? Like, maybe like European at a push. So like he's world level, Algieri. And it was a club where he started. I think it's Jamie Moore. Fair play to Jamie Moore stopping what he did because that was a real tough decision. You can see Tommy Coyle.
Obviously they're friends as well, and like he doesn't want to do this to his mate.
Oh no,
he made the right decision. I think.
Yeah, for Tommy Coyle, someone like him, like quite humble, like British level, to go and like fight Madison Square Garden.
He'd rather go out on his shield than
he'd much rather get like. Yeah, I mean that was like a dream come true. He saw him with his like American flag, and he's like, you know what I mean? I thought he was like Sugar Ray Robinson in there. You know what I mean? So for him to get stopped like that was pretty sad to see. But yeah, for Jamie Moore, that's exactly what you need. You need like a strong character. He's like, mate, trust me, because he was taking some unanswered. He was getting taking damage in there.
He was getting really hurt, I think.
If he'd have gone out for another round, because it's not like the thing is, it's work. If someone like sort of Wilder or someone like Adonis Stevens, they basically one punch, boom. That's kind of alright, isn't it? You take that and you. But if you just get like someone who's not really that hard a puncher, but they're just outclassing you, just like hitting you continuously, that's when you really do like.
Well, look at Algieri's face at the end of the fight.
Yeah.
He didn't take that many punches. He was, obviously battering Coyle. This is the amount of punishment they're taking, and like he's not going to knock you out. And it's unlikely that Algieri is going to knock you out like quickly. So this is just going to keep on going for another couple of rounds.
Yeah. Well, it's one last thing. Obviously, we talked well, half an hour. So let's just. I want to say a good last few words on the American. Like I've seen look at Ammo Williams.
Yeah.
I like the look of him.
Yeah, he looked pretty dynamic, pretty strong.
Yeah, and like kind of, I like his style. I like the way he was like really, his mentality, just seek and destroy. Because the other guy came in and like tried to put it on him, didn't he? So straight away he's like, right, let's have it.
No, it just turned into a fight after about 20 seconds, didn't it?
Yeah.
He said, okay, then let's do this that way.
Yeah, I think Eddie Hearn has like signed a load of like young amateurs in America, so they're going to start like. Obviously, like DAZN are thinking of like the long term, and he's probably like one of their young prospects.
Well, speaking of that, sorry to butt in. Question for you: how do you feel right now if you're Eddie Hearn? This whole DAZN thing, this whole like we're going to fight in New York, like all of that kind of stuff. Do you feel like he maybe put that ahead of the best decisions for Joshua? Was this the best fight? After everything that happened with Miller, suddenly now we're going to have this fight with Ruiz. Would it have been better to just not do the fight? Or was it more important, the whole DAZN thing and all of this?
I think Eddie Hearn is under quite a lot of pressure from DAZN because obviously they're paying a lot of money to people. They're trying to establish themselves. Obviously the American audience don't really want to watch fights at like 4 in the afternoon. I don't know what time it is, but they want to watch like prime time. So I think, and also you got like no one wanted to fight Joshua in at Wembley. Wilder just blatantly bottled it. Tyson Fury bottled it. Basically, you can say he's not really ready for it, but you know he turned it down.
Yeah.
Dylan White bottled it. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, none of them were really up for it. So he's basically had to go to America. He had that date booked, and no one took on a challenge. So partly like DAZN, but partly the fact that like, well, no one wants to come and fight me in England. So
yeah, it seems.
I mean, but to answer your question, yeah, I definitely think that Eddie Hearn is maybe getting a little bit sort of. Not carried away, but a little bit too focused on this. He's kind of spreading himself quite thin.
In too many different baskets.
He's spreading himself quite thin. Yeah.
Really, like if you're Joshua, you want someone who his number one and pretty much only priority is Joshua. That's obviously the case for Eddie Hearn, but he's got a load of eggs in other baskets, and I don't know if he can necessarily make the 100% best decisions for Joshua at all times at the same time as balancing all those other things he's got to juggle. I think apart from saying that maybe Joshua needs to look at the coaching situation, like he maybe needs to, I don't know, because he's his own manager, then he's got Hearn, this whole thing with DAZN.
Yeah.
It seems like they maybe need to get back to the basics.
Something I was going to say as well, like, because you don't really follow like boxing social media like I do.
No.
So the thing with like Eddie Hearn, and he's got a lot of people don't like him, and Joshua. I mean, Joshua, I think it's a bit unfair. Eddie Hearn, I quite like him, but I can definitely see how a lot of people think he's a bit kind of arrogant the way he went into the American market. And they're obviously different kind of people. They've got a different style. So they sort of see themselves. Obviously, America has always fucking hell. America has always been like for a long time like the centre boxing, hasn't it? All the big stuff's gone on. So now it's been a bit shit for ages. I mean, basically the heavyweights have been terrible, like Klitschko's and all that, been running it. So they've basically had to. I mean, I love Mayweather. At the end of the day, he's a welterweight. Yeah. So it's like they've all kind of got on that bandwagon. So the boxing there, when he retired, hasn't really been that big. So he's kind of gone over there. I'm not saying I agree with it, but like the way they see it is like he's sort of gone over like sort of Billy Big Bollocks, like I'm gonna show you how to do it. Like this is a sort of like some sort of British invasion. We're gonna turn up with a proper. There's definitely like a lot of them just like fuck off.
Yeah, everybody's been waiting for this moment.
Yeah, they don't. I don't know if they really like the sentiment. Whether I don't particularly like a lot of sentiment from them, the way they react to it. But from their perspective, that the reality is a lot of people in America are slightly sort of resentful of the way he's sort of gone in there and like trying to like say, oh, this is like the better way of doing it, and we're gonna. Obviously, it's hyped up by a lot of the sort of competitors who are going to try and use all that kind of. Blow stuff out of proportion and try and turn everyone against him. But basically, there's a lot of people there who are really wanting to see him fail.
Eddie Hearn and Matchroom have put on the shows they've put on. They've, I think, changed boxing full stop, not just in the UK but in the world.
Yeah.
What are these other people putting on? What are the reasons I've got to be excited about American boxers in general? And they've obviously got some talented boxers. They're always going to have a load of talented boxers. And literally, nobody really knows who they are. Like
No.
for the quality of boxers they have, who the hell is like Errol Spence, for example? Like I bet you if he was an Eddie Hearn fighter and he was British, he would be a much bigger name, have more money, be fighting bigger fights, and the fans would be enjoying being a fan of Errol Spence a lot more.
Yeah, more active as well.
I don't understand like why these like American fans are buying all this rubbish. Really, like Eddie Hearn is giving you the fights you want to see and making you enjoy boxing.
It was cheaper as well because they're like paying like fucking like Wilder now. He's gonna basically fight against Ortiz in some completely pointless rematch, and they're gonna put that on for like $75.
Yeah, I hope no one buys it.
Well, yeah, but I think I've seen some people like sort of talk as if this is like a really good thing. Like, yeah, brilliant. Cheers for like charging me $75 for some bullshit rematch against some 50-year-old who like you've already knocked out.
These are exactly the same people who are happy that UEFA are giving Europa League finals in miles away. No one can have any tickets. Like this is the kind of sport that all these people want to create. And then when someone like Eddie Hearn is actually making good events for you to enjoy, then all these haters are there like looking to see him fail. I just don't understand it.
That's the thing with like boxing, man. Especially like in America, it's so like divided. You've even got like people because obviously Hearn, like a lot of people just don't like him because it's basically sort of xenophobia. They think, oh, this British guy comes in, so that's like the way they look at that. But even like within their own country, they've got these different like promotional companies, and they're like kind of like top ranker, like wankers, and like PBC are the best, or like PBC a bunch of pricks, and like top rank forever. Do you know what it's weird like style they've got over there?
And how are you going to be a fanboy of like a promotion company or a TV channel?
I mean, there are sort of things you can look at certain things and think like the way like this promotional company like at the moment what they're doing I like or I don't like, but it's just so divided over there and it's just so much based on just sort of hating on people, very little credit given to like other people. It's a generalisation, but that's something that I see a lot. People just don't want to give credit to people. They want to be like 100% this one's in the right, 100% this one's in the right, I'm on this side, fuck that lot. Well, yeah. Well, anyway, we've been talking for 36 minutes. Do you have
nice enough talking to you.
Have you got anything else you'd like to add? Tell?
I'll tell you what, I'm really looking forward to that rematch. I'm really looking forward to it. Like, I look forward to it. I don't know how either fighter is going to go into it and how they're going to do the second fight, but they both got a big job on them.
Unless there was something very wrong with Joshua going into the build-up, I would say that Ruiz would probably be the favourite.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree.
If it's in England, like maybe that makes it.
I don't see how Joshua is going to beat him based on that fight.
Yeah, it wasn't like a close fight, was it? It wasn't like he got hit with like one knockout punch. He's basically just like.
No, he got shown to be a much worse boxer than Ruiz.
Yeah, beaten to the punch, just outboxed, outfought.
So let's see how he goes into this, and I look forward to commenting on it with you.
Yeah, man. Well, LTL, thank you for your time.
Cheers, Sean.
Cheers. You lot, thank you very much for watching. Trying to find the stop button. Bear with me. Can't see fuck all. Go in the shade. Thanks for watching.